Hi students, welcome back again into our geography class. Yesterday we just started our second lesson, which is about the physical features of India, and we saw how millions of years ago the earth moved, the plates of the earth moved in different directions, and some collided each other and folded up and formed mountains, and some places it went down and formed valleys and so on. So let us see in India, especially in the context of India, let us see what are the different type of physical features that we have. We already said that we have mountains, valleys and so on. So let us in detail see one by one. We can say there are six physical features we have, six geographical divisions we have. And the first one and the most important one, we can say the Himalayan mountains. The Himalayan mountains. And the second one is the northern plains. Attached to the Himalayan mountains, the area in the north, we have a very large plain area, very fertile area, which is every year fed by the rivers and filled with alluvial soil. The alluvial soil which is very good for cultivation and for the crop. And then we have the peninsular plate towards the southern part of India. We have the peninsular plate which is projecting into the sea, which is expanding into the sea. That area is called peninsular plateau. Then we have the Indian desert, the desert area, the specialty of desert, the area which lacks rain or it receives very little rainfall, and therefore the much plants are not able to grow there. Very few plants which can survive in that very little rain. Only those few plants are grown there. Then we also have got coastal plains. We said that India has got a lot of coastal lands because India is close to the Indian Ocean, and we have seas on both sides, Arabian Sea on the one side and the Bay of Bengal on the other side. So we have a lot of coastal areas, the areas that are very close to the sea or the ocean, that is called coastal areas. Then we also have got few islands. We have already learned what are the islands that we have. We have Lakshadweep and so on. So we'll be studying about all these things. And today, for our discussion or for our understanding, let us take the first and the most important part, that is the Himalayan mountains. Let us learn about that and let us see what are the importance, or what are the specialities, or what are the features of this Himalayan mountain. And in your map you can see the area that is marked with this color, the brown color. That is the area of the Himalayan mountains. So it is starting from Kashmir and it is coming up to the Arunachal Pradesh. So these are the areas the Himalayan mountain is covering. So when we look at, or yesterday we said, Himalayan mountain is an unfold mountains. Comparing to the peninsular areas, Himalaya is much younger and it is a folded mountain. We said the plates came, dashed together and went up. That is how the Himalayan mountain was formed. And therefore it is a very young mountain comparing to other part of the world, other part of the earth. The Himalayan areas, the Himalayan mountains, it is very young. And it is stretching over the northern borders of India. We said we have this, the northern side, the upper side. Himalaya is the bordering the upper side. So that is very important for us in a way to protect our country and also to provide safety or shelter from our enemies. It is able to function like a war in order to protect India from other countries from being encroached or from being attacked and so on. And these mountain ranges run in a west-east direction from the Indus to the Brahmaputra. So this mountain is starting from west to east, starting from west and it is going to the east. That means the west there is a river called Indus and the east there is another river called Brahmaputra. So it is from one end there is a river called Indus and the other side there is a river called Brahmaputra. And the Himalayas represent the loftiest and one of the most rugged mountain barriers in the world. So it is said that this Himalaya is representing one of the loftiest means highest. You know, Everest, that is part of the Himalaya, is the highest peak in the world. So this Himalaya mountain has got the highest peaks in the world, and most of them are very rugged mountain barriers in the world. So all these areas that are found in the Himalayas, they are very rugged. Rugged means uneven. They are not equal everywhere, and they form an arc which covers a distance of about 2,400 kilometers. So they cover a distance of 2,400 kilometers. So they are forming an arc. Arc means like semicircle. We can see again in this picture. It is not in straight line. It is bending, curving. It is called arc. It is like a arc, and it is covering a distance about 2,400 kilometers. The length of this Himalayan mountain is 2,400 kilometers. The length of this Himalayan mountain is 2,400 kilometers. That is the length. Then the width. The width is not same everywhere. The width is, some places it is stretching out very much, it is very wide, and some places it is very narrow as well. So some places it is 400 kilometers wide. That is especially in Kashmir area. The Kashmir area it is 400. And some places it is very narrow, that is like Arunachal Pradesh. When the Himalayan mountain reaches the Arunachal Pradesh, it becomes very narrow. So it is reaching up to 150 kilometers. So Himalayan mountain, some places it is very wide, reaching up to 400 kilometers. That is especially in J&K. And some places is very narrow, especially when it reaches the Arunachal Pradesh. So that is the situation of this Himalayan mountain. Some places it is very wide, reaching up to 400 kilometers wide, and some places it is reaching only 150. And some places it will be in between. It may be 200. 250, 300 and so on. So starting place it is 400 and ending place that is in Andhra Pradesh it is 150 kilometers wide. Then the altitudinal variations are greater in the eastern half than those in the western half. So the altitudinal variations, altitude means the height. The variation of the height is not same. It is lot of variations are there, and that variations are greater in the eastern half than in the western half. Eastern half means the eastern part, the height of the mountains are varying, it is not the same. It is very high, some places very low, and so on. But in the western side, that is near Kashmir and so on, it is quite steady. There is no much of difference in the height. It is remaining somewhat same. But as it is moving towards the eastern side, the height is much visible. Some are very high, some are very tall, and so on. So that difference is more as we come closer and closer to the towards east. Then the Himalaya consists of three parallel ranges in its longitudinal extent. So again, you can see in your map, there are three lines are given there. Three red lines are given there. There are three ranges. First range, second range, third range. So it is three layers of mountains. It is not just one layer. One goes there, then after that again second one, then below that again third one. There are three ranges are there. So each one has got different names, and a number of valleys lie in between these ranges. So as these three ranges are there, in between each range there is valley. Between two mountains there will be a valley. So three mountains are there, and between these three mountains there is a number of valleys are there. A lot of valleys are there. Then the northernmost range is known as the Great or the Inner Himalayas or the Himadri. So we said Himalaya, there are three ranges are there. And let us study about the first one, what is on topmost. Let us see about that. That has got three names. It is known by three names. So the topmost goes like this. The topmost, it has got three names. It is known as Greater Himalaya, right? Greater Himalaya, or it is also known as Inner Himalayas, Great Himalaya or Inner Himalaya, or it is known as another local name is there. It is also known as Himadri. Himadri. So the topmost layer of the Himalayan mountain, it is known as Great Himalaya or Inner Himalaya or Himadri. So you need to remember these names, should not get confused. All these three means the same range of mountain. They are not three ranges. Other ranges have got other names, but the first range or the topmost range that has got three names: Great Himalaya or Inner Himalaya or Himadri. So these three names you need to learn by heart. Sometimes they will ask what is Inner Himalaya, or sometimes they may ask what is Greater Himalaya. So you should not get confused. All these mean the same. Then it is the most continuous range consisting of the loftiest peaks with an average height of 6,000 meters. So one of the importance or specialities of this range is that it is the most continuous range. It does not break up in between, or there is no gap in between. It is somewhat going in the same level continuously, and the consisting of loftiest peaks with the average height of 6,000 meters. So, and in this range there are many peaks are there, almost having somewhat same height. And if you take the average height of this meter, it will come, the average height of these peaks, it will come 6,000 meters. Not 6,000 kilometers but meters. 6,000 meters is the highest peak, or it is the average peak. If you take the average height of all these peaks, that is found in the Great Himalaya or Himadri. It is 6,000 meters. And it contains all the prominent Himalayan peaks. So all the prominent means important. All the important peaks in this Himalayan mountain that will be found in this Himadri, in this range, or Great Himalaya or Inner Himalaya, that will be found in this range. It will not be in other ranges, but most of the prominent ones, important ones will be found in this range called Himadri or Great Himalaya, or it is also called Inner Himalaya. So we can also see the names are given there. You can see in your textbooks the highest peaks of the Himalayas are mentioned there. Mount Everest is the highest one, and the height of that is 8,848. Then there is Kanchenjunga, that is falling in Indian territory, and that is also very close to the height of Everest. It is, the height is 8,598. Then there is Makhali or Daulankiri, Nanga Parvat, Annapurna, Nanda Devi, Kame, Namchabarwa, and Gurla Manhatha, and so on. So you can see in your book the different height of these different mountains. And all these high mountains, most of them are falling in India or in Nepal. It is situated either in India or in Nepal. And we'll continue. The falls of Great Himalayas are asymmetrical in nature. Asymmetrical means not same. So we said in the beginning that this Himalayan mountain is two plates came and dashed together and bent up like this. That is how the Himalayan mountains are formed. And the contents or the nature of this soil or this mountain, it is asymmetrical. Asymmetrical means not same. So everywhere you go through this Himalayan mountain, the soil is not same. It is not same everywhere. There is a lot of differences there. From area to area, it is different. And if you look at it, the core of this part of Himalayas is composed of granite. So the most important part, or the core, the basic part of this Himalaya mountain, the first range, it is made of granite, very hard substance, granite stones, and it is perennially snow bound. So these mountains, it is always covered with snow. Perennial means always, continuously, always these mountains are covered with snow, because the temperature is below zero, and therefore always the snow remains there on top of the mountains. And a number of glaciers descend from this range. You know what is glaciers? Big ice peaks, snow peaks, which is long, thousands of meters or hundreds of meters long. Since we said most of these mountains are covered by snow, especially and the areas, the valley also will be filled with water, and then water will turn into snow, and it forms a very big ice field that is called glaciers. So this lot of glaciers are found in this range. Which range? Don't forget the name. Great Himalaya or Inner Himalaya or the Himadri. Himadri itself is the name showing about snow. Hima means snow. Himadri. Dri means mountain. So mountain of the snow. That is the meaning. Himadri. So it is the highest peak, and therefore the higher the height, the lower the temperature, and always there will be ice. So these mountains are always covered with ice, and there is a lot of snow fields which is called glaciers, and the main component of this mountain is granite. So that is all about this first range of Himalaya, that is called Himadri. Now let us come to the second range of Himalaya. Below the Himadri there is another range, second one or the middle one, and that is called Himachal. Second one, first one is there, then second one below that, it is called Himachal. Or it also has got one more name, that is Lesser Himalayas. Another one is Great Himalaya, this one is Less Himalaya. The ranges are mainly composed of highly compressed and altered rocks. We said the top layer it was filled with granite. So, but here it is composed of different materials. That is composed of highly compressed and altered rocks. So it is compressed. Compressed means pressed together, pressed with pressure, and highly altered rocks. Altered means changing. That means the stones are not very hard. It is going on changing the shape. That means it is breaking and it turns into powder and so on. It becomes the shape is changed. Alter means changing. Then the altitude varies between 3,700 to 4,500. So the height of this, earlier we said the height here average was 6,000. So but here some places it is 3,700 and some places it is 4,500. So it is between, the highest will be 4,500 and the lowest is 3,700. The height of this second range is called Himachal or Lesser Himalaya. And the average width is 50 kilometers. How wide it is? It is just 50 kilometers. The width is just 50 kilometers. And earlier we said the top one, the total width of this Himalayan mountain, including all the three ranges, we said when it reaches Arunachal Pradesh, it will be 150. So here we are talking only about the second range, not about the whole Himalaya, but only the second range of the Himalaya, which is called Himachal or Lesser Himalaya. You follow? And while the Pir Panchal range forms the longest and the most important range, and in this range or in this Lesser Himalaya range, the most important range is called Pir Panchal range. Pir Panchal range. That is the most famous range. You can underline in your textbook. That is the most important or most famous range in that. Then that is the longest as well. That is the longest and the most important range. Then the Dauladhar and the Mahabharat ranges are also prominent ones. So the first and the longest one is Pir Panchal range. Then other important ones are there, less important ones, that is Dauladhar, and the third one is Mahabharat ranges, they are also important. So these are the three ranges that will be found in this Himachal range or Lesser Himalaya range, that is in the middle one. Then this range consists of famous valley of Kashmir. So the famous valley of Kashmir, you know about Kashmir, that is falling in this range. The second range of this Himalaya or Kashmir is in that Kashmir valley. And the Kangra and the Kullu Valley in Himachal Pradesh. And other two valleys are there falling in this same range. That is, one is falling in Himachal Pradesh, both are falling in Himachal Pradesh. And what are the names? One is the Kangra and second one is Kullu. So this Kangra Valley and Kullu Valley, they are also falling in this second range called Himachal or Lesser Himalaya. Can you say the names of these three? First one is Kashmir Valley, that is in Kashmir Reserve. Another one is Kangra. Another one is Kullu. So all these three valleys are falling in this second range. And this region is well known for its hill stations. So this valley or this range has got so many hill stations. We know hill station means tourist centers like Kashmir and other hill stations which are on top of this range. It is very famous and people go there for visiting and so on. So it is very famous hill stations. Then let us come to this third range. So the second range is over. Now we come to the third range. That is the bottom level, the third range of the Himalayas, and this is known as Shivaliks. Remember the name Shivalik. Shivaliks. They extend over a width of 10 to 50 kilometers and have an altitude varying between 900 to 1100 meters. So what is the width of this? The width of this mountain is 10 to 15 kilometers. So this range, it is maximum 50 kilometers. Some places only 10 kilometers. And the height, altitude, some places it is 900 and some places it is 1100. So between 900 to 1001 meters height difference is there. It is not same everywhere. So maximum height will be 1100 kilometers. And these ranges are composed of unconsolidated sediments brought down by the river from the main Himalayan ranges located farther north. So we said different ranges are consisted or made of different things. So here it is made of sediments. Sediments, especially the rivers that are coming down from top of these other hills, other ranges, that river is bringing down a lot of sediments, and that sediments come and settle on this mountain, and this mountain consists of these sediments. And these valleys are covered with thick gravel and alluvium. So because of these sediments that are brought down by the rivers, it is consisting of a lot of alluvial soil. So this mountain consists of, or this range consists of a lot of alluvial soil. And the longitudinal valley lying between Lesser Himalaya and the Shivaliks are known as dunes. So the valley that is between the Lesser Himalaya, that is the middle range, and the Shivaliks. So this is a high mountain and this is also a high mountain, and between there is valley. So that valleys are known as dunes. So the valley, and there are many valleys are there in that. One is Dehradun, another one is Kodli Dune, another one is Parli Dune, and so on. All are known as, or some very well known or important dunes, and you have to remember the names, the important names of these dunes. And besides the longitudinal divisions, the Himalayas have been divided on the basis of regions from west to east. So we can also divide the Himalayas from west to east. So long we were dividing the Himalaya according to the height. This is the highest, then it is in the middle, and then it is the lowest. So also we can divide the Himalayas, or we can give the different names to Himalayas depending on the place, starting from west to east, that is starting from Kashmir to the Arunachal Pradesh. So that is different names, different states. The mountain is passing through different states, and different states are giving different name to that mountains. And these divisions have been demarcated by river valleys. So there are many rivers flowing from the Himalayas, and between each river different names are given. People call the Himalayas different names. Let's see. For example, the part of Himalayas lying between Indus and Satluj has been traditionally known as Punjab Himalaya. So the area of the Himalayan mountain that is between these two rivers, Indus and Satluj, that area is known as Punjab Himalaya, because the state Punjab is falling in that area. Therefore, people call it Punjab Himalaya. Then it is also known as, regionally known as Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya from west to east respectively. So some places in the western side, that is the highest side, people call it Kashmir Himalaya, and as we come down, people call again another name called Himachal Himalaya. So the area that is there in the Kashmir, people call it Kashmir Himalaya. And when we come down, it reaches another state called Himachal Pradesh, and there people call it Himachal Himalaya. Then the part of the Himalayas lying between Satluj and Kali rivers is known as Common Himalayas. Then again, as the Himalaya is continuing, when it is between two rivers, that is between Satluj and the Kali rivers, then people call it by another name. What is it? It is known as Common Himalayas. Then between the Kali and the Tista rivers, the Himalaya is known as Nepal Himalayas. Then the part lying between Tista and Dihang rivers, the Himalaya is known as Assam Himalaya. So between each river, it is falling different states, and people call them related to their own states. So if it is passing through Assam, then they call it Assam Himalaya. When it is passing through the Punjab area, that area is known as Punjab Himalaya. When it is in Kashmir, it is known as Kashmir Himalaya, and so on. And these are regional names also in these broad categories, and you may be able to find out what is the name called, the Himalaya is called in Arunachal Pradesh. When it is reaching the Arunachal Pradesh, what is the name given to the Himalaya mountains? So that is a local name, you will be able to find it out. Then the Brahmaputra marks the easternmost boundary of the Himalayas. So on the most eastern side of the Himalayas, that is in Assam side, and Brahmaputra is the boundary. When it is touching the Brahmaputra, the Himalayan mountain is over. And beyond the Dihang Gorge, the Himalayas bend sharply to the south and spread along the eastern boundary of India. So when it is reaching the Dihang Gorge, gorge means a deep place. So in that deep turning place, when it is reaching that area, the Himalaya mountain is suddenly turning to the other side, and it is passing through up to the moving towards the south, and that is then it is known as Purvanchal or Eastern Hills and Mountains. So the place where this Himachal Pradesh, Himalaya is turning towards south, from then onwards it is known by another name. It is no more called Himalaya, but it is known as Purvanchal, or it means Eastern Hills. And these hills running through the northeastern states are mostly composed of strong sandstones which are sedimentary rocks. So the most of the mountains in this northeast that we find, it is called Purvanchal mountains or eastern hills, and they are composed of strong sandstones. Here we said it is formed with granite, and here it is formed with another type of sedimentary rock, and here it is formed with sediments coming down from river. Now we come, the Himalaya is turning towards the northeast, and it is spreading to the northeastern states, and here all these mountains are composed of sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks means not very hard rocks which can be powdered easily. And covered with a dense forest, they mostly run as parallel ranges and valleys. So most of these mountains are covered with forests, very thick forests, and they are running as parallel. So many, as these Himalayan mountain ranges are parallel, they are parallel. So most of the mountains in this northeast are also running as parallel lines or parallel ranges. And there is also a lot of valleys are formed. We said here between these two ranges there is valley. In the same way, there are so many ranges of mountains in the northeast. Between two mountains there will be valley as well. Then this Purvanchal comprises the Pakai Hills, the Naga Hills, the Manipur Hills, and the Mizo Hills. So you can underline the Purvanchal or the Eastern Hills, that is comprising of small hills. The name, for example, Pakai Hills, and the Naga Hills, the Manipur Hills, and the Mizo Hills, and so on. So all these hills are part of this Purvanchal or Eastern Hills. So that is all about the great mountain called Himalayan mountains, and that is the most important physical feature that India has got. So we learned about the different layers of Himalaya, which has got the different names, and it has got different heights, different widths, and the valleys that will be found. So all these are important. Remember the names, underline in your book, and learn the names nicely. Read again and again, make it thorough in your mind, then you will not forget. So all these are important. Note down these names, repeatedly read again and again, and learn by heart and keep it in your mind. Okay, thank you for listening, and we will meet again in the next class. Have a nice time. Study well. All the best.